Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today is a rainy season, which, makes me feel quite meditative, if you will. But then at the same time, right now, because recently I've heard people saying that I'm fluent in English. They want to be as fluent as I am in English, and I must have been born with some kind of a gift or whatever the case may be. But in reality, it's just it's not true. It may be true that I am fluent now in English, that I can speak English fluently, but it's certainly not true that I was born with some kind of a special gift, if you will. Yeah, in reality, I've always been, and I am just a boy with insecurity issues, really. When I was like a child, I was literally mocked and bullied by many people for being quiet, for not being articulate enough, for being repetitive. I was bullied because of those things. I mean, maybe that wasn't the only reason, but certainly that was one of the reasons. If that was not the only reason. So I never was eloquent even in my native language. I simply wasn't. There were lots of times that I had difficulty in expressing myself even in my native language. So there never was a gift from the beginning. If anything, there was a curse, if you will. Like everyone else around me was eloquent or fluent in our native language, and I was not. I just was not. I was not fluent in. I was not eloquent, even in my native tongue. So that's how. You can imagine how insecure I must have been, and I really was at that time, and I still am in some sense, but not about it has nothing to do with fluency anymore. But I still have my insecurities, maybe because I'm human. But again, I never had any special gift. I wasn't born with any special gift. I just kept going. I just kept practicing. I just kept going. I just kept learning. Until one day people told me, hey, you're fluent in English. How did you learn to speak English fluently? Yeah, but then again, there's nothing so magical about it. I just kept going, practicing, and studying, really. And so, for you people out there who, may be struggling in English, or you think your English is not good enough, or you think your English is bad, or whatever the case may be, you're not alone. It's a pain. I think it's a painful place to be in, especially if we really love learning. languages, and if you really want to be fluent in any language. But like it just that particular disposition in life where you think you're bad, you're not just good enough, or maybe you're thinking that you may have been born with a curse or something, or some sort of misfortunes, some sort of misfortune. Again, it's a painful place to be in, but it definitely does build your character. It makes you a resilient person. You don't get strong by just pretend, you don't get strong by thinking that everything is okay, or when everything is okay. Once you face your weaknesses, that's when you get stronger. In the same way that you know how courageous you are when you're facing your fears, and that's just the way it is. So it seems to me that if we're going to follow this line of reasoning, then it seems that we can only find this sense of security when we face our insecurities, whatever that security is, and whatever that insecurity is. So insecurities, it seems to me, are a part of being human. And perhaps it's really nice to face it. I face it every day, and it can feel painful. It can be painful at certain points in life. But to me, there's nowhere else to be. That's just the way it is. Thank you very much.